What's up, everybody? Christopher Leon Johnson here. So, there's a response to Sandy Nurse's little tweet about this whole new story controversy that's occurring with the apps, with Instacart suing the city of New York over the minimum wage provision that is technically supposed to be law, where that Instacart must follow the same rules that Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft is the Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub is following, where they're paying the deliveries minimum wage. Now, I said this before in 2023 that I'm not a big fan of the rollout. I support a living wage for the baristas. I support living wage for anybody in the city. But the way that this minimum wage was rolled out was a bad rollout, where they only let the nonprofits speak, and they kept it hidden on purpose when it comes to like public notification, because they knew that there was going to be a significant amount of backlash, to the point of people going to be showing at those hearings and showing opposition to it. Majority of deliveristas in the city don't care about a minimum wage. All they care about is where that they don't be harassed by the NYPD and the various agencies for trying to do their job. And when they get deactivated, they get their accounts brought back. Now, on Thursday, on the 4th, there's a sect of Uber drivers, and mainly the guys do Uber, and Lyft is not, because Lyft only runs City Bike. On the 4th of this Thursday, on the 4th at 12 o'clock, there's going to be a rally outside City Hall on Broadway Murray with the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. Shout out to the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. I'll be there Thursday to show my support, just like the deliveries too. I'm gonna show my support on Thursday. Show my support, and they're fighting for Intro 276, where it stops the deactivations for unfair deactivations for app-based FHVs, for hire vehicle or app-based drivers, right? So, and this is a real serious thing, because these guys that drive the cars know that you can give them guys $50, $60, $70 an hour. And I think they should get paid that amount of money just for doing Uber or shit. If you drive a car, that's because to maintain a car to sit in New York is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And $20 an hour or $30 an hour is not going to cut it. And I'll say that out loud. Look. I think that, look, when it comes to the wages, I understand it. But when you have to work where you might get your account deactivated, then you have to run to a nonprofit, just as the Worker Justice Project or the IDG, which oversees the Just for the App Workers. I think a lot of the Just for App Workers is under IDG. Just for App Workers is the workers group for Uber. To go and try to get your account back, I think that's a more stressful strain, more than trying to get a minimum wage or one of the barista hub. Well, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you could put $50 barista hubs all you want, but if you're not getting your accounts reactivated, or where you're working on a thread, knowing that your account might be unfairly deactivated, all this wage stuff does no justice. And I spoke to a barista, and that was in 2023. I had the video, and he said that, look, they don't care about wages. They don't give a fuck. They just care about keeping their apps on. And if me and my boys get our accounts deactivated, you should be the people that's just going crazy to put our app back on. That should be the priority when it comes to not only the Worker Justice Project. This should be the priority when it comes to just for app workers. And not only that, there should be a priority when it comes to Sheikh Christian and Sandy Nurse and Tiffany Gaban, Gail Brewer, and all these people. And I know that Sandy has a bill in the city council, Intro 1332, that I'll support when it comes to stopping unfair deactivation of deliveristas. But I want to make this clear about when it comes to this whole rollout, when it comes to the now Instacart pay minimum wage. Now, I said before in 23 that this rollout is going to create a lot of consequences, starting with the first four. Relay, Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub. This type of rollout, which was a bad rollout, was like a forced rollout, a big forced rollout, where Brad Leonard introduced the bill to City Council, and it went through only with minimal notification. Only the nonprofit spoke. Everybody else didn't know, and it went through. Okay, you got the minimum wage. I think everybody know what happened that day. In 23, I was out there with a few guys, and me and these other guys, we went to court. The press conference out there, Sainers, Marte, I think Rivera, Lander, Dirk VJ was there, the Nidon was there. We heckled the rally. Raul Rivera was there. We all heckled the rally. Open Plans was there. Transup was there before Ben Furness. And then after that, we all hell broke loose. I'm not proud of what I did, but that what happened during that lawsuit time. But this time, I'll make this clear that that's not going to happen this time. I actually going to support the deliveristas when it comes to this stuff. I support a living wage, but I'll say this right now that the way it got rolled out it's not a good rollout. And people are like, well, Chris, like, oh, like, look, they got minimum wage. Like, what's the problem with the minimum wage for the deliveristas when it comes to the first rollout, when it came to Uber, DoorDash, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubber, and Relay? What was the problem with that? Okay, look what happened later down the run when it came to Uber, mainly Josh Gold, rigging the app to where that they retaliate against every deliverista that does some petty shit. Making where that they retaliate against every deliverista that delivers late. Regulating where they retaliate against every deliverista that decide to that don't deliver on time, or they don't make a certain amount of deliveries a certain amount of time, they don't get paid until they get warned out, and then they get unfairly deactivated. That was all done by Josh Gold. And I'm surprised that JQ never called him out when he was at the JQ never called the guy out about that when they was at the damn New York Law School. I was there. I was asleep, but I was there. I called his ass out on that. Like, yo, bro, you're the guy that's out there telling the fucking IT guys to rig the app, to where that the deliveristas have more pressure to do the job, to where they put the whole city in danger. Where that these guys are forced to do certain many things where, like, look, if you do it, like, if you don't deliver a certain amount of time, you get deactivated. So what these guys gonna do in return? They're gonna blow red lights. They're gonna ride the wrong way of the street, to the point of now where, like, I think like a few months ago, a Hasidic girl got hit by a deliverista in Brooklyn, my neighborhood, my borough. So this minimum wage rollout not only put a lot of lives in danger. This minimum wage rollout put many lives in danger. It not only put the deliverista lives in danger, it put the customer's life in danger. The deliverista, it put the deliverista life in danger. It put the customer's life in danger. It put the public life in danger. And I think Sandy Nurse know about this, where there's an organization that, look, they got a law in the city council. They got a bill pending in the city council. I know it's going to die. They had it last time it died. Marjorie jumped on it and it died. But now this one's up and it got heard and it's going to die. And it's called Intro 606. I mean, now it's Intro 60, which is called Priscilla's Law. Now, that minimum wage, and I'll say this many times, that minimum wage for the deliveristas helped mold for Priscilla's Law, not only in the city council, which is sponsored by Bob Holden. There's a bill in the state assembly, state senate, which is prime sponsored by state assembly member Jennifer Raj Kumar and state senator Joseph Adabo. This minimum wage law really opened the rug, opened the red carpet to the New York City e-vehicle safety alliance to not only lobby and persuade the now Nepo baby police commissioner. I think that Sandy Nurse should be calling for the firing of this police commissioner, Jessica Tisch. Not only that this organization used this situation with the e-bike crisis, where people get hit and killed by the e-bike, these little fucking e-vehicles, e-bikes. They are the main ones that really got to the ear of Jessica Tisch's mother and made her mother complain to her daughter, who was the police commissioner, to make it where that if you go over 15 miles per hour on an e-bike and you get busted in 4K, you got to go to criminal summons court at 1 Center Street. And if you ever been to 1 Center Street for a summons, if you're not a celebrity, if you're not a public figure, you're gonna be there mostly. You're gonna be mostly there all day, and sometimes not by any scene at all. If you don't show up, you got a warrant for your arrest. See, this is what happened. This is what the minimum wage did. It opened up a can of worms where not only you got a commissioner where like, okay, fuck it. If you have an e-bike and you blow 15 miles per hour, you go to summons court. Made it where that city bike had to adjust their e-bikes, the little white e-bikes, to 15 miles per hour. So you can't even go over 15 miles per hour on a city bike. They capped it. They rigged it. They rigged all their machines, all those bikes, to make it where they go 15 miles per hour. 15 miles per hour. And not only that, you blow a red light on an e-bike, you gotta pay, you go to criminal summons court. And everybody know that this shit opens up to immigration concerns, and as many things is open up to, mainly, especially immigration concerns, because my feeling is that they might have ICE go to 1 Central Street and start fuck with those deliveries over there in the state court. They might do that shit. You never fucking know. So going forward, I want to make this clear that let's make this clear that this rollout is a disaster piece of a rollout. It's a disaster piece of rollout. And I want to say this right now. And I know because in 2024, myself and JQ, Joe Cianci, shout out JQ LLC, who does a lot of great work for the city. Myself and JQ, we was at some school in Jackson Heights, right? In Jackson Heights, New York. And which is in Shekhar Christian District. Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, Catalina Cruz, Raga, I think, who else was there? I think that's it. Mainly all those, and Jessica Ramos, right? No, Ramos was not there. And there was a town hall where Shekhar did that snake shit, and everybody knows Shekhar Christian did. Shekhar Christian had a town hall, supposed to be a town hall about the e-bikes. And he so-called invited out Yandis Rodriguez. And Yandis didn't show up. And then what happened was he turned it all to about Peso Park. But the DOT, he allowed the DOT consultants, they don't work for the DOT, but they consulted with DOT, they consult with the DOT, and they say, look, our recommendation is that the DOT should regulate the apps. Yandis and the DOT should regulate the apps. Myself and JQ said that if they did that, they'll be in jail. But I'll make this clear, that my opinion is that, look, regulating the e-bikes right now, especially under Madani administration, is not going to happen. And I'm going to explain why. Because even if the new intro goes through with Priscilla's law, Madani's going to veto it, and it will not win that override. So I think that, like I said, the best bet, and I think the best bet for Sandy Nurse and all these elected officials that really give a fuck about the Liberistas about the situation, because this is a federal court. This is federal court. This is not state court. This is federal court. Federal court is not the court where the county committees, all the county bosses and the Working Family Party own those judges, and they can easily get the case in worker justice projects, the city's favor, right? And destroy Instacart. The federal court is ran by Donald Trump. Now, if Instacart pays off Trump enough money and lobbies the people in the federal government to tell the judge, like, yo, give it to Instacart, Instacart's gonna pull it off. I have a big feeling that Instacart might pull this off because it's in federal court. Now, this is my thing. If I was in the city council, if I was in the agencies, what I would recommend is that the city council make a bill out of revenge to Instacart. With that Worker Justice Project, Lady Galapa, and all these other NYTWA, is that the city council needs to make a commission where that the apps start getting regulated. Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, Relay, Instacart, all get regulated. And even Lyft get regulated. All the apps get regulated, and where you put Lygia on as a chair of the board, and you put Bavari Desai as two co-chairs of the board, and they could design, and the city council, the public advocate, the mayor's office, the DWCP, the DOT, labor department could design one person to be on that board. odd number like 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 21, 19, to where the point that what happens is that, look, the commission is able to recommend fines, violations, summonses, and provisions to where that if the apps keep on fucking up, the apps get fucking shut down in the city of New York. But that'll be my thing. That would be but our interest in city council. We got to start regulating the apps. Unless you regulate the apps, they're gonna keep on doing the fuck they want to do. At least the thing about Instacart, they got smart with this situation is that they took this case to federal court. They took this case to federal court. They didn't take this case to the state court because they knew that the state court was ran by the city. The state court is always, especially in the city of New York, is ran by the city. Ran by the city. They took it to federal court. But like I said, we got to regulate the apps. I'm not saying to shut down the apps because shut down the apps. That'd be like you have to build a reason to shut down these apps in the city. You got to build a reason to shut down these apps in the city. It's the only way you're gonna fix this situation. So like I said before, you know, this is my advice. This is my advice. You got to regulate the apps. You have to regulate the apps. But like I said, this minimum wage shit put us all in trouble. Put the librista in trouble. It put the customer in trouble. Put the restaurant in trouble. Put the app in trouble. And it put the public in trouble because people get hit by these shits. So like I said, I'm not surprised what happened. Instacart, they threatened to sue. They said it's a long time they'll threaten to sue. They'll threaten to sue. They'll threaten to sue. They'll threaten to sue if this law went through. And I mean, look, they have the right to sue. It's America. I mean, but like I said, if I was in the city council or I was part of the agencies, the mayor agencies, I'll fucking recommend form a commission to regulate the fucking apps and it's just to get at Instacart. That's what I'll fucking do. Just form a commission, make Lygia and Bravari Desai as the co-chairs of the board, and then you appoint people on the board, and then we get at Instacart that way. That's how you get back Instacart. They might win. Instacart might pull this off. You never know. I hope they don't win, but they might win it. They might pull this off. And I'll say this right now. Look, it's just what it is. It's America. They have the right to sue. But it's the way that it's like, yeah, she into the law she want, but they have the right to fucking sue. Remember, they're still a private corporation. There's a lot you can't tell a private corporation to do. Of course, they're in a city where they have to do business in this city, but it's what it is. But my advice, I'll say this: I think Instacart. I mean, they have the right to do what they do, but it's America. They have the right to say they got to do what they got to do. It's fucking. I don't like it, but it's just what it is. But I think very soon they might drop a lawsuit. They might not. But if they do, they're just gonna do what Josh go tell them to do and say, this is how you got to get the deliveries. This is what you got to do. Mandated times and schedules and fucking unfair deactivations and cutting people off for no apparent reason, making people wake up in the morning and get their account deactivated and stuff like that. So it's just what it is. I'm just saying that right now. I'm just keeping it real about the app. So this is my take about this. Like I said, like if the lawsuit, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for the lawsuit day. I'm going to be there for the court case, but I'm not going to do what I did in 23. I'm going to be on their side, the Larissa's side, and support the Larissa's with this stuff because it's just sad. Like I said, I'm not against a living wage. I'm not against anybody making $1 more, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. But I just don't like the rollout. The rollout was done wrong. I believe that the rollout, if they did the rollout better and say, look, we got to put this rollout where that deliveries don't get retaliated against just for taking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70 an hour, I think it would have been a better rollout. And I think it would have never got the backlash it gotten. But when you roll it out where people still get deactivated left and right for no apparent reason about Uber and DoorDash and Grubhub and all the, and Relay and shit like that, where it is hard to get your accounts brought back, it does no justice. And sometimes not about taking $1,000 settlements and $20,000 settlements. Guys want to work. You got people that are hungry to work in the city more than just taking money. And the thing is that this is a set of people that want to work. They want to work. They're not here to take handouts. They want to work for their money. So that's my take. And I mean, I'm supporting the Larissa's on this stuff. But like I said, Instacart might pull it off. It's federal court. It's not state. It's federal court. So take care. Happy Tuesday evening, and enjoy your day. And by the way, shout out to Jason Solomon for winning the governor's, the New York City, New York State, Jersey mayor's race in New Jersey. Fuck McGreevy. Take care. Later.